Well, this morning, thousands of third grade students will apparently have to repeat that grade after not passing the state's iRead test.
More than 10,000 students actually didn't pass, but 3,000 won't move on to fourth grade. This is because of a new state law that says if third graders in Indiana don't pass the iRead, they have to be held back. 7,000 students will move up because they meet what's called a good cause exemption. Now that's where schools decide on a case-by-case basis if the kids can move on.
Now, many of them are in special education or are second English language learners. So some are already held back or scored very high in math skills. The Secretary of Education is really stressing here that the number of students actually being held back is less than what they expected this year.
Those were the numbers that were being thrown out, is that it would be 7 to 10,000, that this law would trigger retention. But in fact, huge shout out to our teachers and our people.
So 1 + 4 is?
So now the goal here really is to use this new data and then help the other students and the ones who failed, but make sure they are still moving on.
Yeah, but they'll still need some help there. So the state says they want to make sure there's extra money for academic support for those kids that may need a little help, even though they were able to move to the next grade.
The thing is, we have to understand about this is teachers need to get paid more, but also too, I believe they should be getting a scale of bonuses for kids that are able to pass and go to the next grade. We got to pay our teachers more. We need better teachers for these kids. Also, too, what I don't like about this is they're showing black kids, but they said in the report that special ed kids and kids that have English as their second language. Let's stop using black kids to be able to get more money for your schools, but you're not doing stuff for the black kids. Another thing that can lead to this is that parents need to take care of their kids and make sure they're on top of their kids' ass when it comes to the schoolwork. We got to be as parents, we have to help the teachers and make sure our kids are on top of their homework. If we don't do that, then our kids will fail. Our job as parents is not just to give it to the teachers and walk away. We still need to be there and make sure our kids are on top of their homework. So this is a thing for the community. The teachers need to get paid more, and then they possibly need to get bonuses. So when they do well and they have kids pass, they get a bonus. But also too, money should be taken away if their kids don't pass as well. We have to make this a performance thing. Okay, we have to make sure that you get paid based off of performance for your bonuses. Yes, you need a base pay. Yes, you need to be able to live your life, but you should get rewarded when your students are doing well. But also, too, you should be penalized if your students are not doing well, because as a teacher, you need to teach and be on top of these kids as well. This is why I feel like teachers should be getting paid more in a base pay and a bonus as well. But families, parents, you got to be on top of your kids. You have to understand, what is your homework? Have you did your homework? Did you sit down and read? What are you doing? What we do with our kids, with our youngest one, she doesn't like to read out loud. I need to sit right here and read out loud. Read out loud and have confidence, because what it is, a lot of kids can't read is because they don't have confidence. There's nobody telling them that you know how to read out loud. Don't be scared to read. But as parents, we have to teach our kids still. Just because they go to school doesn't mean we stop teaching. We walk away, say, it's fine, you got it. We got to be better as parents. But what I don't like about this report, and when they're showing this, they're showing all black kids, but the report says special ed and kids that speak English as their second language. That should never happen. Kids in America, first language needs to be English. And this is what I'm leaning on to the immigrant parents or the parents that don't speak the language. You can't be speaking to your kids in your language at home and then having them speak English everywhere else. That's messing up the kid. If the kid was born here, their first language needs to be English. We understand your culture. We understand we want them to learn your native tongue, but they need to learn English, because all this doing is taking more money, giving more money to the schools and pushing them back, and now they're wasting money. It goes hand in hand. We have to do this together. Parents need to be better. Teachers need to be better. The schools, this is the thing I don't understand. The biggest issue why kids are failing is because you guys teach these kids all on computers. You guys don't force these kids to talk. You don't force these kids to interact and have conversations. You don't force these kids to read out loud. You just say, get on your computer, do these things, and then you'll be quiet. Well, I understand why teachers do that, because a lot of these kids are bad and they have no home training, so they get burnt out. And also, too, we got high class ratios. One teacher to every 30 or 35 kids. It's impossible. Not every kid's going to learn. So there's a lot of problems with the education system, but people say, give them the iPad to learn, give them the computer to learn. Kids can't learn like that. They need to have conversations. They need to be able to talk. They need to be able to read out loud in order to be better at reading. Of course, they're going to be good at math. It's easy to do math on a computer. That's what it's for. But conversation, reading, you have to do that and talk out loud and speak out loud. So I feel like the high concentration on technology in schools are actually hurting kids and not helping them. We need to go back to go outside and talk, have a conversation, explain to me what you just read. Don't type it, don't write it. Talk to me and explain what you just read. Read this paragraph out loud to me. Don't talk about them. Don't laugh. Encourage. Our curriculum in schools need to be better. They get all this money from the government, but then we have kids that's failing. That's a problem. That's a problem. We need to have more money into having more teachers, better teachers, teachers that want to be there, that's not getting burnt out. There's a lot of things that need to go into given to teachers to have them be better, but it also comes from help from the parents. See, the parents, you guys don't want to be parents. You guys don't want to be a teacher. You don't want to go in there and say, I'm going to teach my child and make sure my child is doing their homework. Where's your binder? Let me see what you got for today. Where's your homework? Why are you hopping on that computer, on that iPad, or that iPhone so fast? Where's your work? Did you do it? Yeah, let me see it. Kids lie. If you haven't noticed, I raised kids. Kids lie sometimes. It's because maybe they don't want to do it. But as parents, we got to be on their ass. Let me see the work. Read it out loud to me. What did you read? Explain it to me. See, some of y'all parents is putting emphasis on what you wearing, what you driving, what you have, but you're not putting emphasis on your kid being smart and be able to pass grades. And it's typically in the lower income neighborhoods as well, which is sad. You more worry about what you have, how you look, but your kid is dumb. Your kid don't know nothing. Your kid just go scooting through life hoping they get past. But now we got school systems say, nope, you're going to go back again. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing not only on the kid and the teacher, but it's embarrassing on the parent because you're not doing your job. We don't understand, and I didn't really understand this either, but I caught on to the program real quick. When you have kids, you got to be on them. You got to set the standard. You got to let them know what it is early. A lot of y'all don't parent until they get older. A lot of y'all don't set the standard until they start causing problems in school. The standard starts when they come out that womb. How you going to be as a parent and how you going to do these things, that comes from when they come out the womb, you setting the standard. This is how life is going to be. This is how everything going to be. I don't play around. You got to be like that. Y'all scared to discipline y'all kids and set standards for y'all kids. Y'all want to be y'all kid's best friend. Your kid will never succeed if it's like that. Yes, you can have a good relationship with your kid, but if you're trying to just be their best friend and not punish them and not discipline them, not give them standards, they will fail in life. A lot of these kids are. So just as much as it's on the teachers, it's on the parents. There needs to be a better parent bureau. If you don't know how to be a parent, talk to a parent that you think is good and ask them what they're doing. When I tell parents what I'm doing with my kids and how I make sure the standard is there, they look at me. That's why your kids are so good. Yes, because I don't play around. We don't play around with school. My wife and I, we don't play around. And it goes, if they go to grandma's house, if they go to granny's house, the standard is still there. Everybody has to be on one accord when it comes to your kids. Not you go over here, they got different rules. Not you go over here. It's the same thing. Because if you don't have that, then your kids will fail. Big key saying they say about kids, it takes a village. But everybody has to have the same standards. Everybody has to understand this is the standards from the house, and when they go here, it has to be the same. No problem. But this is sad. This is sad. Only thing I don't like about this report is you guys are putting black kids out there, making it look like they dumb, when really your report is special ed and kids that came from English, from a family that has a English household language of English as a second language. So let's clean that up. But at the end of the day, we got to be better parents across the board, because if we don't, our kids will continue to fail. Then they will become criminals. Then they'll be in jail or they will be dead. Let's be better parents. It starts when they come out that womb. It doesn't start when they start going to the classroom.